turning point. All right, back to what you were saying. Though we can.
Well, I guess we might as well finish because we're pretty much going through all of. Because was the stuff with like Jesse didn't happen till
Yeah,
episode 14, right?
yeah, that was more towards the mid to end there. But we've got to cover at least two of the other big things.
Yeah, because we're still mainly focusing on episode 13. Forget. So this is also the one where the place where Sasha is like finally showing her pain, and she finally breaks down and she shrieks in the party. This isn't real.
Yeah,
That was kind of crazy.
she snapped.
Yeah, because she's kind of been like disconnected for a while. And that whole party bit is kind of important because they Aaron had invited Daryl to go to the party so he could make some friends and people could get to know him. But then they sidetracked and ended up going to his house instead.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like a test, like, well, I just want to see if you would go, but why didn't you? Why aren't you going? Oh, it's not really my scene, and I don't want to leave my hubby here by himself, right?
Yeah,
So they did their own thing, but then the rest of the of Rick's group goes to the party, and Sasha's more of like she's sticking out more than anyone else right now in the group because she's just kind of there like completely zoned out, and then she finally just breaks down. Like it's weird. Like she's hearing voices and stuff, and she's looking around like she's about to like punch somebody. Like I don't know. I'm worried about her. I think she's really losing it.
yeah. Like she had a hard anxiety attack. I guess it's like a panic anxiety attack, kind of after being out there with no one really. Like just a quiet kind of your own little inner circle. Being surrounded by a group of strangers, that survival freak out.
And I think her floodgates just finally just burst. Like everything that she was holding back with losing her brother and all the stuff she's seen and had to do. The mistakes she's made, like letting that one dude go. That one cop that tricked her.
Yeah.
She's a wild card for the group and kind of a ticking time bomb. And it doesn't help that the actress that's playing Sasha is pregnant in real life.
Yeah.
So I know we always talk about it. You can't talk about The Walking Dead without speculating about who's gonna die next. I think she's a very good candidate because she's trouble right now. um, but another thing that really stood with me in this episode was the final scene with Rick, where he had he had the stamp on his hand, and he puts that hand on the wall. It kind of leans against the wall with the zombie on the walker on the other end. I keep saying zombie. I know that's a big no. It's a walker. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
But what do you think that means? Like, is he missing the outside? Does he feel trapped, or is maybe he's finally realizing, hey, we got this wall to protect us? I mean, what's really going on there?
I mean, I really am not sure. Like, usually I've got a pretty big theory on everything. This one, the way they kind of ended it with him up against the wall, the best I could grasp at is maybe he's trying to get it to sink in. Everyone else seems to kind of be falling in line, I guess, inside of Alexandria, and he's still very not. But
Yeah, I don't think him or Carol are gonna completely buy in.
oh, dude, Carol's gone. She like that was that 180 I did not see coming. That started in 13 and carried on to 14.
I mean, she's been in a bit of a downward spiral for a while. I mean, once we saw what happened in the Grove, you can't come back from that. She's in just strictly business mode.
Yeah,
She's
but
scary.
that
You still didn't see it coming.
no, dude, because I mean, think about like, okay, you could be a jerk to everybody, but usually once there's this kid who ain't done anything, he hasn't, he's done nothing, nice little kid, and then you're just like, look, if you tell anyone, I'm gonna take you. in no descriptive way saying, I'm going to, but someone may take you out into the distance, tie you to a tree, and then graphically describe how walkers are going to eat you alive to this little kid.
Mm,
Like,
yeah, and
that's pretty gone.
not to mention for someone that's so smart, that it probably wasn't the best way to handle the situation. Like, I wonder if she could have just played the whole side like you do with kids, as like, I'm on a secret mission. You can't tell anyone, or else the mission would fail. Like, do you like spies? Do you like
Yeah,
action
like,
movies? You know?
but
Well,
see,
I'm on a secret mission. You want to help
I,
me out?
I think she sat there and she was just kind of like, I don't know if her brain went to the whole, well, people always talk about the boogeyman. Well, now this kid knows the boogeyman's real and I can use that against him. Like, she's leveraging hard.
She is, and it was really scary just how like she put like the fear of God in the kid. Like, oh
The kid,
man,
nothing. Put the fear of God in me. I was sitting there watching, like, don't do it, kid. Just shut up and run.
yeah, yeah, that was definitely over the top. I think she could have handled it differently, but I can also see why she doesn't want to form that attachment to any youngins because of what happened, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, man, that was. Oof. We'll see. We'll see how it's going to play out. That's.
Oh, I mean, let me be clear. I don't condone her actions at all. Like even in survival mode, like it was a poor play in terms of like trying to fit in, and it was a poor play in just human compassion. Like that poor kid, and you could tell that kid has had from the beginning a kind of emptiness in his eyes. I'm like
Yeah.
that kid has gone through stuff. You could tell, and now they're finally letting us know, like, because you see the whole that one scene where, first of all, the kid's following the Carol around, right?
Yeah.
And why is that happening? Like he's obviously looking for something, and then
Right. And he keeps saying it's all about the cookies. Like from the party on, it's
yeah,
always about the cookies.
but it's not. You know, it's
No.
not. And they finally says, "Hey, I need a gun," and Carol's like, "Why do you need a gun? It's not for me. Who's it for?" And he wouldn't answer, but you could tell already who it's for. You know.
Yeah.
And then they don't spell it out clearly, but you know what's going on because of everything that's happened. Jesse being so chummy with Rick, the kid being kind of needy and kind of that doesn't look like a happy kid, and it doesn't
Well,
look
I
like
mean, Carol spells it out when she talks to Rick.
yeah, but she never got like the specific like it was.
She never got the 100% confirmation, but you know,
She just knows from her own experience what abuse looks like, right on the
right?
outside.
Like her general empathy and intelligence went, hey, I know what's happening here.
Yeah. She's been there before. So
Exactly.
now, it's funny. As much as she's fighting, she's like telling this kid, "Hey, scram!" As much as she's fighting to avoid that bond, now they have something that they have in common. So she's gonna form an attachment there one way or another. And she takes such charge of the situation that she even goes to Rick and she goes straight to she just goes straight to the chase. We gotta kill this guy. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Not given, there's no there's no like in between phases. It's, like, oh, let's go talk to him. Maybe we'll make some threats. I might get physical. No, let's just kill him. There's only because she's like, there's only one way this could possibly end. It's like,
Yeah.
darn, man. I'm telling you, she's strictly business now, man. It's scary. But let's talk about one of the big scenes in episode 14,
Oh,
the whole warehouse action sequence.
yeah.
A lot of stuff happens here.
A lot.
First of all, I want to say that from the beginning, I did not like Aiden and his pal Nicholas. They're real
Yeah.
idiots, and I know why they're idiots, but good lord. These are the people you don't want in leadership positions.
Right?
But sadly, Aiden finally starts to turn around and actually listen to Glenn, who has far more experience. Aiden puts his ego aside because he's like, oh, I was in ROTC and I'm good with guns, but really he's just a weakened warrior. Whereas Glenn has been out in the field. He's been in that survival mode. He knows what it takes. Like he's
Yeah,
lived it
he's
every
been
day.
living it.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not just training. He's lived it. You know. Um, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what happens here in the warehouse? Cause there's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go all over the place. But
All right.
they set out to the warehouse to get power inverters because there's problems with the grid, right?
Right.
And Eugene's like, oh, we need these little doohickeys. They look like this, and there
Yeah.
should be a bunch of them in the warehouse. So that was Eugene's find, right?
Yeah, he's like, they all look like this. They all look the exact same. And then they're like, cool, but you're coming with us. You're going to show us.
Yeah.
And,
And
you
he
know,
didn't want to
he's,
go. He went
no.
along like begrudgingly, like I don't do field work.
Yeah, I think at one point he even says, like, I want it noted I'm doing this under duress or something. Like, yeah.
I like Eugene. He's funny.
He's, the whole time he's sitting there talking. He's like, they're going through, they're looking for it. And Glenn kind of scouts the area. He scouts around front and the other entrances, exits to try and make an alternate exit strategy. And they realize, well, the front is covered in walkers. So front door is not an option. And, they look at it and he's like, all right, well, let's go in. They finally go in and there's a gated off area that's full of walkers, but really no like eminent walkers around them, like one or two, I think. No real threat of walkers. There's a fenced in area.
Hmm.
And so Eugene starts looking for the power things and he finds them. But about this time, there's a walker that comes out in a hazmat suit. And who was it? It was Aiden, right? Starts freaking out. And
He gets all trigger happy.
yeah, he's just popping bullets at it. And he starts,
Mind you, after Glenn says, "Wait for it to get closer.
yeah,
Don't waste your ammo." But he's just like just firing off rounds all willy nilly.
he's just popping rounds, popping rounds. All of a sudden, in the midst of popping these rounds, zombie hits, or the walker hits the floor, and Glenn notices that there's an oxygen tank on the back, as there are with hazmat suits, so that they're not breathing contaminated air. And just as he tries to tell Aiden, don't shoot, he pops off a shot and it hits the tank, causing an explosion.
It's a face
And
palm moment.
yeah, it kind of rattles everyone because they're all relatively close to the proximity, and it's an enclosed blast. You know, Eugene goes down, Glenn goes down, Aiden goes flying back, and this is where we lose. Well, as far as we knew, we lost Aiden there. He's got pieces of metal just sticking through him. He gets basically impaled on a shelf.
Oh yeah, it's
And
pretty
the
gruesome.
explosion frees the fenced in walkers as well. So now they're starting to run free and everyone panics. They've got to figure out what to do. Uh, it goes south real quick.
Now, what's interesting is that Nicholas checks out his friend. He's quick to assume that he's dead. But all of a sudden, you hear Aiden calling out or whatever, making some sounds. And Nicholas tries briefly to free him, and then he's like, screw this, I'm getting out of here because the zombies are closing in on them. I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
walkers. Gotta keep correcting myself. And he tells, Nicholas just goes and tells Aiden, this is who we are. Like, really? Like, yep, protect yourself first, you know? But then I thought about that, like, well, who is we? Nicholas and Aiden, or just is that like the general mentality in Alexandria? If you think about it, that might be important. There might be something more there because maybe imagine if Deanna is actually bringing in Rick's group because they she knows stuff's about to hit the fan, right? So stuff's
Hmm.
about to go down. Maybe she knows about a threat that she's not telling everybody. She's not telling Rick's group, and that's why they're starting to tighten up on things and start to build up a real kind of army with that. I don't know.
It
It might
could
be a
be,
stretch.
but see, here's where my theory was coming in because you talked about the zombie with the W on its forehead,
Mm-hmm.
and this isn't the first time we've heard them talk in this kind of manner, like with the zombie that they had kind of strung up.
Now hold up, real quick. Uh, See, I was thinking the same thing Doomplay just pointed out. I saw military gear as well with the grenade. So I think it was a grenade that he fired at.
Was it a grenade?
Yeah, he had like a riot mask on, not a hazmat suit.
See, I thought it was hazmat, but
Yeah,
I kind of
he
caught it, and
he's
unfortunately, it wasn't in the best definition. But
yeah. It was a grenade on like on the front of
okay,
him,
so
and
it's a grenade he catches.
Glenn caught it last minute, and then he called it out. He told him stop, but of course Aiden didn't
Let's be
listen.
fair. I'm pretty sure the bullet caught it last minute.
No, I think he caught it in time, but Aiden like he said stop, and then there was enough time for Aiden to react, but he was like pow pow pow. He just went gangster on it. Doomplay's asking if you watch the show High.
Uh, Not necessarily.
So we about to correct that. All right. So what's your theory?
But no, they talked about the walker that was strung up, and that it was I guess that had gotten someone they had cared about, was kind of the general feeling, like they were doing it as a revenge kind of thing,
Oh yeah.
their tradition. And it feels like that's kind of their whole, this is who we are, I think was still kind of based towards them. I believe they might have left that person, and then the only way they could justify that they had abandoned someone perhaps was to go back and string up the walker.
Didn't haven't they done this multiple times? And didn't these zombies, these walkers, get loose before? Like it comes back around, like to bite them in the butt. Like it seems to be like a recurring thing with between Nicholas and Aiden, or at least they're alluding to that. So it's possible
Yeah.
that the one with the W on the head was one that they had strung up and then got loose.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking, is I'm thinking this might be another one of their kind of martyr walkers, if you will.
Hmm, that's interesting. So wait, if they use it as a marker and they strung it up, what would the W be like? West this way?
Not necessarily west,
That'd
but
be funny.
maybe they etch in a letter for whichever one of their friends, you know? So, like, almost like in memory, like, say it's their friend, I don't know, I'm gonna throw out a random name like Wes.
That's like a really messed up epitaph or something, right?
Yeah, like it's a
A
weird effigy,
tombstone.
but they carved the W in, and this is the one that got Wes, so we're gonna mark him. And anytime we want to remember Wes, we're gonna go kick this walker, or shoot it in the arm or something.
uh, I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
I mean, it just, again, random theory.
Now, what's interesting is they do try Glenn and I think Noah was with them, right? We're trying to free Aiden, but eventually they realize they can't do anything. Zombies are too close, so they run off. I think Aiden tells them to leave, right?
Yeah.
I forget exactly how it went down, but they run off. They realize they can't free him, and the thing is, he gets no mercy, even though he just confessed like he was the one that abandoned his group, and he's the reason that a previous run went bad and they lost people, and he confesses, and then he gets no mercy. Like he doesn't get a shot in the head, and then the zombies, the walkers, munch on him while he's still alive. It kind of reminded me of a scene from classic zombie flick, Day of the Dead, where the dude's like choke on it.
Yeah.
Like I vaguely recall that. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this before.
Mm.
But there's a lot of things that I like. I like this whole sequence in the warehouse, but like I feel like it's one of those forced plot points because Glenn's very well. He's experienced. He's very well versed with these kind of runs. They didn't. They end up not grabbing the power inverters, if I recall. They ended up having to run and leave them behind. Um, and they run out of ammo. Like that's like a new mistake right there. You know, like
Mhm.
I know that. I know you can say like everybody has their off day, and really Aiden was in charge. Aiden and Nicholas are running around with like more ammo and better guns, but they suck. And Glenn and Noah and Eugene have like pea shooters, right? But
Yeah.
I still feel like it's a little bit hard to believe that this went down. But I guess again, people have to do stupid things in order for them to be a major plot twist, right?
Well, you also got to think they weren't really calculating for the whole, run for the front door. The front door wasn't even supposed to be an option due to numbers, and they were idealizing pretty much. They didn't want everything to go south, but it did.
But they know it always goes south. Like Glenn and Rick's group, they all know that it could always go south. They know Murphy's law runs rampant in the apocalypse, right? I
They
mean,
do.
I mean, Glenn was even playing it safe. He's like he wanted to do a perimeter sweep, and Aiden was like, "Okay, I guess we could do that." Like,
Yeah.
like they have no protocol whatsoever. But like Glenn's like, we're gonna do this by the book. We're gonna check the corners, and we're gonna flank this way and leapfrog and blah blah blah. I don't know, but it's still a good scene. That little aspect is like, well, I guess it had to be kind of silly for that to happen. Like you really didn't think there'd be walkers inside of there. Like I don't know, but Eugene steps up to the plate, right? He
Yeah.
gets to the van, calls attention to the walkers, and draws them away. Because Noah and Glenn end up stuck in a revolving door. As Nicholas is running away, and all three of them are stuck in a revolving door, and they're fighting to see who gets out and who becomes zombie food. This scene right here really pisses me off,
Hmm.
and we knew it was coming. You know,
Yeah.
we saw it from the beginning that going on runs with Aiden and Nicholas was just bad news. It wasn't good for anyone other than them. Runs with them weren't going to end well, right?
Yeah.
What would make you think otherwise? And they could have all gotten out of there if Nicholas was just patient and let them break one of the windows and then draw the walkers away, and then the rest of them could get away in the other direction, and it could have happened. They could have made it out. I know they were surrounded on both sides of the revolving door, but they could have made it out of there.
Yeah.
And once again, we have a chump death. The way Noah got taken out was pretty lame.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like halfway through the episode, I kind of hit that point where I was like, "Well, Noah's dead," and
Yeah,
I was watching with my roommate, and he's like, "What do you mean Noah's dead?" I'm like, "Noah's dead." It's like, "What makes you think Noah's dead?" I'm like, "Well, one, Noah just said, I'm going to do this for the future. There's the first
yep,
sign you are
yeah.
toast in The Walking Dead. I'm thinking about the future. You have no future."
Yeah, if you're not living in the moment, you start getting lofty dreams and
Yeah.
getting comfortable. He's like, I want to be an architect.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely foreshadowed it well, but it's just the
I'm going to start
circumstances.
writing notes in this book. Yeah. Welcome to Game of Walkers.
Dude, and the only thing he got to write in that journal that Deanna's husband gave him, what's his name? What's her husband's name? I forgot already.
Uh,
He's not really that big in the plot right now. He's
yeah,
cool
like
though.
he's not super important. He's like, I'm the old guy who's married to the mayor that you're way more invested in.
Yeah.
And I built the walls way back when.
Yeah,
So
BTW, I built the walls that are around here.
other than that, everyone's like, and we don't care.
He
It's that whole thing.
he told Rick and his group that he's like, yeah, but you're far more accomplished than me. I just built these walls, but you guys have done amazing things together. He's kind of he's giving them lots of props. He's very humble. I like his character. I want to see more of him. But yeah, Noah just had one single journal entry, and it said, "This is the beginning."
Yeah.
It's like,
of the
aw,
end.
exactly.
This is the beginning of you being eaten. Congratulations.
Just terrible. I mean, it was a good death sequence just because. Yeah, I mean, you could feel Glenn's trauma just watching him die through the glass door, and the revolving doors. I mean, he watched every last bit of it. Man, it's just poor guy. He's like, just when you have a little bit of hope. That's the theme. It's like, don't have hope. Just live in today. Live in the moment, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. It's like, oh, hope? No, we're gonna smash your dreams. uh so don't get comfortable. That means you're gonna die next. And it's a shame. It's a shame. I was looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing a little bit more from Noah, because in a way, like he's kind of he was keeping Beth alive in a way, like living in her place. She died so he could live, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So it all seems like a waste now.
Well, I mean, you know why they had to get rid of him, right?
Why? Because the herd is too big.
No, everybody hates Chris.
Oh yeah. Boom, boom.
Yeah, sorry, someone had to do it.
Oh boy. Well, we are running out of time, so we gotta start wrapping this up and go on to some other discussions.
Yes.
But BFT just mentioned, completely unrelated note, that the Predator is in Mortal Kombat X. That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen like Freddy Krueger previously.
Which one
And
was he
so
in?
he was in I think like the very last one, like there were 4 downloadables and he was like one of the last downloadables
Oh,
they
he's a
released.
downloadable. That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you got the season pass, he was there.
freaking DLC. Back in my days, it used to be unlockable. You unlock it through a code and blah blah blah. Now you gotta pay for the DLC. Oh boy.
Yeah.
We won't go off on that rant tonight or today. Wow, I'm jumping ahead. It's still afternoon when we're recording this live, by the way.
Yeah.
Though it's nighttime somewhere in the world. Like
Yeah, I was
Melly.
gonna say you can say it's afternoon. I still haven't slept.
Oh yeah, that's true. So your night's kind of still continuing, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melly Dunn was just in here. She hails from the UK. One of our new friends of the network and the show. She's like, I'm about to make supper for the family, and that threw me off. Like, supper at this hour? Oh, right, you're 5 hours ahead of us. And normal people have dinner around 5 or 6 p.m. Right, 7 at the
Yeah.
latest. Not my house. Like 9, 10 p.m. Here we go.
And you're that guy who reminds everybody each week what time the show's on, so
That's true.
it shouldn't catch you that far off.
But it threw my internal clock off. Like, wait a minute, supper? But it's only 1:30 in that. Oh, right. But man, there's a lot of stuff going on in these episodes. Like I'm still thinking, like, what is Deanna's end game? Because like Rick's group, this all of them are kind of rising to power. They're taking important positions in the settlement. Abraham takes charge at a construction site, and we got some more like lily-livered pansy stuff going on because the foreman runs away when some walkers start raiding the construction site. They're building more walls, right? And Abraham's like, "Hey, no man or woman left behind." Bump that, because they start firing off their guns all crazy, and they have Francine up on a like a bulldozer type thing, right? And then they shoot the pneumatic pump. It loses pressure, and she falls down, hurts her ankle or breaks her leg or something. And they're about to leave her as like walker bait. And he's like bumped that he like just heroically goes in there in the midst of all these walkers. Puts her in the cab of one of the construction vehicles, like a caterpillar or whatever. I forget what you call them, a bulldozer. But and he puts her in the cabin, and then he's like, making them chase after him. And I mean, he really just stepped up. And then, I got to give it to the foreman there. He said he went to the mayor and was like, hey, he's a better leader than I ever will be, so I think he should take over construction. And she was kind of like, okay, you twisted my arm. Like, I wonder if she has a real, like, master plan. Like, they're going to become the leaders so they can become the fall people. Like, are they going to become the scapegoats? Like, what's going on here? Because she's smart. She's got a game plan.
All right, so we've got like one more big thing to talk about.
Okay, well, actually, two more big things. Whatever you want to bring up, and also the Judas moment.
No, that was the big one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if
that, like I said, there's like one more big thing to talk about.
Yeah. This is huge. So tell us about it.
Oh, dude, no.
You want me to
if
feel
I start telling you about it, this show will lose its G rating.
All right, so Father Gabriel has been hiding for 2 or 3 episodes. We haven't seen him really at all. Right? It feels like you haven't seen him in a while. Last thing I recall was he burned his collar, but now he's got his collar back. So I guess he found one in Alexandria. I don't know if someone made him one.
I mean, they probably had one. Like, they had the whole little church and stuff. So, I mean, there's probably one around.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure not that hard to make one of those type of things, right?
Yeah.
But, he's been having issues with his faith. We saw him in episode 14 just ripping apart a Bible and kind of going crazy. And in the final moments of this episode, he goes to Deanna and talks about like how the devil disguises himself as an angel or whatever, and that Rick's group is not what people think they are. The devil is working through them and all this stuff, and he's basically just being a Judas, completely betraying them, even though he owes them a lot. Like, he has no reason to personally have a problem with them. If anything, they should have a problem with him, because every time they need him, he just cowers in the corner and is ready to run. And he's the reason that people in that church died, because they laid their trust in him, and he just locked himself up.
Yep.
But he's, he's really the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, I got so angry. I know how you feel, bro. I know why you want to like just lay like F-bombs and just go crazy.
Oh, dude.
That is such a punk move.
Like snitchy McTattletale is not strong enough words.
Yeah, I mean, this really, this was powerful stuff, because it's just the emotional triggers were all over it, this whole bit. I mean, he has no reasons to be playing this card right now.
No.
And then this kind of ties into what we see a lot, unfortunately, in real life. I always tell people I am a Christian, but I'm not one of those chest-beating folks that has double standards, and judges other people. And I don't force my beliefs down people's throats, but you kind of want to make a joke, and I'm sure atheists and agnostics are like, oh, a religious person condemning another person for their own redemption? That never happens. But I'm like, you know what? I can't fault you there, because that's something, unfortunately, that happens a lot in religious communities. You have people saying, oh, that person is a cheater. They're an adulterer, and they're an alcoholic, but then they're doing the same thing themselves. And that's kind of what he's doing here. It's like, oh, a bunch of people died in my parish because I just couldn't man up, but I'm gonna switch on these guys because they did some evil stuff.
Yeah.
Bring the focus off of him. So finally, we're seeing why Father Gabriel has survived all this time. He's finally playing his part for the narrative, and man, what a pisser.
I'm just saying, not a vehicle in sight, and he's still trying to throw everyone under a bus.
Seriously. And, I mean, he's almost gotten them killed several times, Oh, man. And the best part about this, though, is that Maggie, of all people, who's now the mayor's assistant, she's overhearing this conversation, and no one knows she's there. She's walking up these stairs, and she just sits there, listens to them, standing there, hearing every last bit of what he's saying, sniveling and weaving his own lies and exaggerations. You got to tell the whole story, not just partial story. Then I don't know if the mayor takes it seriously, like, but she's kind of like, oh, okay, well, we'll look into it, and I don't know what's going through her head, but the fact that Maggie's overhearing this, because she's had her own issues with faith. Like she's made it clear recently that she no longer believes, because what kind of world can we live in that where these kind of things happen, and there can't be a God if that kind of stuff is happening, and there's no justice, right? That's kind of her where she's coming from. So there she is with her own conflicts with her faith, and then Father Gabriel with his conflicts with faith, and it's like, oh, now you're reminding me why I'm no longer religious. I'm surprised she didn't go out there and like slap him. That might happen next episode.
Hey, we can only hope.
Or
For the mace.
She's got to play smart, though. She's got to play smart, though. I think if she calls him out right there, probably not the best play. What do you think?
I wouldn't call him out. I'd just be like, hey, Carol. Carol, remember everything you told that kid? Yeah, we should go show the Padre what's up.
Tiger Claw's giving me a hard time. Like, you're a Christian, doesn't go to church on Sunday? I go to church on Sunday sometimes. And sometimes I watch webcasts. That's the thing. But I believe in having a relationship with God in your own way. I rather like pray on my terms than just like join up and just do something out of routine. You know what I mean? Or obligation. Do it because it's born in your heart. But I'm sorry. I just completely like derailed what we were talking about.
Yeah, that just had that hard left turn.
I know.
Well,
Well,
we've
then,
got about 20 minutes and we have a lot of ground.
yeah. I think we should just end it. Cause so wait, what would you like to like for Maggie to do next? Just to reinforce that.
Oh, take Father Gabriel out into a big field somewhere far away from the city.
Wait, are you being serious?
Why not?
Oh my god.
Tie him to a tree and then just go home, skipping.
Oh my lord. That I don't know if that'd be the best way to approach it. That's probably what emotionally we want to do, right? Maybe smash something on his head, but not kill him.
I
But
mean, like, this dude, what's the best thing this guy has done?
the only thing he's done of usefulness and perhaps selflessness is lead them to the food storage, the like the that place where they had all the like one of those charity places that does food runs.
Yeah, like a food drive place.
They have food
So,
drive. There you go.
so about how long ago do you think that karma ran out with all the stuff he's pulling?
Oh yeah, he's the
So
bad outweighs the good. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. What he deserves and what should happen are two different things. I agree. They should just like dump him out and let him fend for himself, right?
actually, you know what I want to do? I want to find a pit somewhere, right?
Oh gosh.
And here's the way it works. I'm gonna give Nicholas a 2x4. I'm gonna give Father Gabriel a 2x4. And whichever one can climb out of the pit is the one that gets to stay.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't know who's a bigger jerk right now. It's kind of a close. It's close, but I think Father Gabriel wins just because he should be thankful for surviving and having his mostly worthless life preserved. Not this is not how you repay that kind of favor. So who's next to die? Father Gabriel is definitely a top candidate.
Okay, I've got three people on my list.
Okay.
Two of them I've already mentioned.
Is it in order of most likely to least likely?
No. If you want most likely to least likely, I would say Jesse's husband,
Okay, that's most likely. Most likely.
most likely.
Okay.
Father Gabriel, Nicholas.
Hmm.
Those are my three most likely to least likely.
Okay, I buy it. I think I'm with you.
Um, I think they're at least they're the ones I want to see go. Like
Yeah.
they may not be the ones that go, they're the ones I want to see go.
Yeah, if it's like in terms of who you want to see go, I'd probably put Father Gabriel first. I mean, no man should lay hands on a woman, even if she gets violent. But, well,
We'll see.
that might be an exception. But
I see him as potentially being a bigger problem because
hmm,
okay, Father Gabriel can talk that good stuff and that's cool, but even when he spoke to her about the whole situation, she didn't really seem like she was buying into it.
that's true. And
She was kind of like, "Oh, I'll take it under advisement."
yes, true. Like kind of like pat pat pat, and I run along.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's the mayoral way of going, "Cool story, bro. Tell it again, do such a thing."
Plus, Jesse's husband is a doctor, so that makes him less expendable. It's like religious lead, spiritual leader slash motivational speaker or a doctor in a post-apocalyptic scenario. What's more important?
I mean, yeah,
And he's already established as part of the community, right?
I mean, he is. The thing is it's just his tendencies will spread more ill will because then you're going to take the people and no one expects to trust the survivors.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. Like he has more influence. He's got more
Yeah.
trust and more usefulness. All that stuff gives him collectively the fact that he's been a longer member of Alexandria. He's a doctor. More,
Yeah.
all that stuff. He's got more influence overall.
He's that bigger danger.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're on the same page with that. So we start doing some plugs. We're gonna talk about the 8 a.m. audio media stuff that we're doing. They're the folks behind the Dark Journey Doctor Who radio drama. We've been talking about teasing this for a while now,
Yes.
and they got series 2 coming out in April, and they're doing their rounds right now. They're actually at the Toronto Comic Con. We got an interview coming that's going to be on geekyantics.net. And we also have some stuff we're sharing from their social media stuffs over on facebook.com/Geeky Antics. We have the Geeky Antics Facebook fan page. So keep an eye out for that. We will not only have the interview with them about not just Dark Journey, but their inspirations, their influences, their favorite Doctor Who doctors, regenerations, enemies, I mean, all that kind of stuff. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about The Walking Dead and video games. See what we can get out of them. Get a feel for the people behind this wonderful expanding universe Doctor Who work.
Yeah.
And they'll also be joining us as guest hosts and maybe doing some recurring guest spots. So we're gonna see what happens with that. We're brainstorming and trying to put everything together and see how our schedules line up. But they're pretty excited about working with us and being part of kind of this evolution, this retooling of the show. But Oolong, if there's one thing, if you had to make a quick sales pitch on Dark Journey, what would you say about it? Like a brief synopsis and some of your reactions to the radio drama.
Okay. All right. Brief but impactful. How would I word this? I would say one, if you haven't given it a listen, go do that immediately. They cover a few things that I thought were amazing the way they do it. The guy, whoever the gentleman who voices Sherlock, whoever the guy who voices Sherlock Holmes on that show, I actually like the way he does it. Like he is so good
Yeah.
at just being Sherlock. Like from the, I get it, I don't get it, almost anti-personal moments. It feeds so well, and it's just a perfect medium that they did it in, and it's so phenomenal. Their minor takes on certain things that you may think you know, but you don't really know. The kind of like, tongue-in-cheek nod towards the Hounds of Baskerville. And if you're a fan of either series, honestly, just the interaction between Sherlock and the Doctor, like, even if you're one of those, I'm a Doctor Who fan, I can't stand Sherlock. I know there's a lot of you guys out there. Go listen to the cast just to hear some of the funny, snarky back and forth between the Doctor and Sherlock. Just the quips alone. There are so many good moments.
And this is a friendlier Sherlock as well.
Yes and no. There's still those moments where you kind of,
They get along better than Doctor did with Robin Hood.
well, yeah.
Way
Let,
better.
let's be fair. Robin Hood isn't real.
I'm just saying, like, especially with newer Doctor Who stuff, the doctors have always had trouble sharing the limelight, the spotlight with others. Like, there's too much ego, you
Yeah,
know, and the Doctor and Sherlock get along surprisingly well. Or at least that's how it struck me.
they do. And the storyline is really really interesting. In the first kind of series, it follows, like I said, there's little nods to various things between Doctor Who and Sherlock. They kind of equally cover it with little things back and forth, but um they're the characters, and the Ripper. The Ripper is really the center point.
Yeah,
And it's so just well done, and kind of a in the Ripper, it takes the very Sherlock Holmes, English feel, like time frame, a very Doctor Who twist on it. And I think it was just really masterful. It was so good. So make sure to go check it out. That's all I can say. And just like I've been harping on Yogi about catching up with Lost Girl before, this next half season comes out, the finals, basically. Make sure you catch series one. It doesn't take long. I've probably listened to it about 4 or 5, 10 times. But I mean, if you've got just, I'd say all in all, 30, 45 minutes, even if you're working out, you can just pop in the headphones, listen to it. It's available on SoundCloud, on their website. I think there's various other sources, but give them a check. Check them out. You can listen to it, and literally just while you're working out, you can hear this amazing story. And before you know it, your workout's done, the story's done, and you're waiting for series two, like I am.
yeah. It's something that's like it's a quick listen. It's not a huge time commitment, and they can just keep enjoying it over and over again. I definitely need to re-listen and listen when I'm not like my mind's not split on a whole bunch of different things too.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like the first time I listened to it, I was playing a game, and it was just kind of background.
Yeah, like
It
background
was
noise. Yeah,
because like I shut down the audio. It was just a little, like blah blah game, I guess. Like they're what I call fluff games, like Facebook games. So I
yeah,
don't need the audio from those. Mute those. Listen to Dark Journey in the background. And then the second time I listened, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just kind of close my eyes and envision it while I listen to it. And that it was so good.
I'm with you, man. You could just chill out. If you have trouble sleeping like I do, you can listen to it right before you go to bed, and then dream of Doctor Who. Not a bad deal. The
Dude,
small downloads too. The small downloads you can carry it with you.
yeah.
You know, if
I'm
you
one of those people, like, I don't fall asleep to the radio, but I fall asleep to TV. But the way they did it, I can definitely fall asleep to just listening to it. And also something about the accents, like the British accents.
yeah, see, I prefer falling asleep to like a podcast, and I have specific kind of podcasts I like to listen to when I'm falling asleep. Like one of them is the Danger Room, where they read X-Men comic books and other comics, and then like do reactions and commentaries to them, and their banter is just so great. Like there's a few podcasts that are like radio drama type stuff, or like just storytelling, people calling in and sharing stories about paranormal kind of stuff like that. Like it's very narrative driven, and those are the kind of things you could like listen to while you're passing out, or listen to over and over again, right? Because you normally don't revisit a regular podcast, like a news kind of show, which is a more traditional podcast. But something like story driven, you can listen to it over and over again. So this is like in my group of like, fun podcasts to listen to, just relax and unwind. Maybe keep in the background, or fully engaged, whichever way you want to do it. There's no wrong way.
I mean, I would definitely say give both a shot. Kind of listen to it the first time, even if you're doing something. Second time, give it like an honest shot. Like it's not a huge time commitment, but so worth.
I'm with you, man. But unfortunately, it's that time. You know what time it is, right? The sad time.
Oh
You get quiet. You're like, I don't want to say what it is.
no, no.
We did good though. We actually stayed completely on time, and we made it through everything. We didn't get so much about video games. We just kind of sprinkled it along the way, but that works out because I personally haven't done that much gaming lately. It's kind of sad.
I've done way more than I probably should have.
Yeah, and I just heard SoulForge just had a new update. It stopped working on my tablet for a while, so I gotta check it again to see if it's finally behaving itself. It's not.
I don't know.
Oh,
I play on PC. I have no idea about the tablets and the telephones. I pretty much do all my gaming on PC. But if
that's
we
the
do want to
preferred
just
way.
get one more piece of video game in, there's a really cool Steam sale going on
The
at the moment.
the are they the ones doing the roguelike games? Oh no, Cyberpunk. The Cyberpunk sale, right? That they talking about?
No.
They have a Cyberpunk Steam sale going on right now.
They're doing a 10th anniversary 2K
Oh, that too.
publisher sale up to 80% off the entire catalog. And the biggest thing that caught me is I think you can get all three BioShocks, like BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, for $10.19.
Can't go wrong with that.
Oh, no.
If you haven't experienced those games, it's never too late.
Also, Borderlands 1, 2, and pre-sequel are all on sale right now. Like, just really good games. Don't get me wrong, really bad games too, but really good games for the most part.
2K as a whole has good, solid games. They haven't had many stinkers that I can think of off the top of my head.
Duke Nukem Forever.
See, I enjoyed that game because I had low expectations for it. I'm like, dude, it's been in development hell for like over 10 years.
Dude, I used to joke about that game because I remember I had a 93 Game Pro that had like the old magazine Game Pro that had an article entirely about Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
And you got to think that game got pushed
If that
all the way.
if that game came out even 5 years earlier than it did, it would have gotten a better reception. Like
Dude,
if it came out during the original Xbox, PlayStation 1 era, it would have done fine, but it was just too long.
See, I used
showed
to
its
tell
age.
him Duke Nukem Forever, Forever was not the subtitle, it was actually the release date. And it seemed pretty accurate.
It was a fun romp. I would put it up there with like Bulletstorm. It's not gonna get Game of the Year. It's gonna have some tropes that won't sit right with you. It doesn't have the most compelling storyline, But if you just enjoy the gameplay, you're fine. The only problem with the gameplay was that it did have some parts that were monotonous. Like I like the remote control part when you were like miniaturized. And you're in the
Yeah.
RC. You're in the RC, the little remote control car. It was cute, but after a while, I was like, you're just kind of going around like, where do I go next? I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, see, I put Duke Nukem Forever with like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
See,
It was one of those,
not
it's
bad.
fun, it's kind of a novelty. If you were trying to buy it, hoping that it was going to be like revolutionary end all be all and not satirical, I don't think you've ever played a Duke Nukem game. But even then, the controls, like if you delay a game for 10 years and put out a game with controls like that, you should be ashamed.
Yeah.
That's like going, guys, it took us 10 years, but we're gonna give you the first Tomb Raider. Enjoy accidentally backflipping to your death like 50
Oh gosh,
times.
that yeah. I love the original Tomb Raider, but tank controls only have a place in like maybe some horror game. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, but anyway, we'll revisit that. We'll table that for now. But I hear you. But it's a fun enough game. If you get in the bargain bin, temper expectations, you'll enjoy it. You'll get your money's worth out of it.
Hmm.
Just don't expect it to be a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Still, I prefer it over The Last of Us. That's all I'm gonna say. That's fine. Everybody's like, "How dare you? They're not
Yeah.
even in the same playing field." I said it.
I'm not even getting it now. Nope. Nope.
Some games are overrated and they aren't that great, but some games are really underrated, and then they're like, "Oh, it's not so bad." Like Too Human, people pooped all over that game, and I thought it was a cool game.
It's so terrible when you were like, some games are overrated. The first thing I thought is Evolve.
Oh gosh, we had to talk about that next time.
We
'Cause,
will.
there's supposedly according to Steam that game is selling well.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Cool story,
So
bro.
yeah, but that's a whole other can of worms. But folks, don't forget, please support our sponsors. They keep us doing what we love and doing more of what we love to do and what you enjoy doing with us. Go over to geekyantics.net/sponsors. We have different offers there. We have our lists of people that have our top donors or donators and good folks. So make sure you check out we call it the Hall of Heroes. We have different ways you could save money or check out cool products and services you may not have been aware of otherwise. And don't forget, you can enjoy Time and Whammy Tea Time wherever fantastic, beautiful podcasts can be found. That includes, but is not limited to, Stitcher, iTunes, Zoom, TuneIn Radio, and Spreaker. And don't forget, allgames.com. You can join us live. Just go to allgames.com every Saturday, unless otherwise advertised. And actually it's every other Saturday now. We're bi-weekly now. And we stream the show live at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in London, and 4 p.m. in Madrid. And again, don't forget to visit us at geekyantics.net. Spread the love, leave some comments. People are so aversive to comments. It's so easy. You don't even have to register. But if you do register, you can unlock achievements and get points and show up on leaderboards and friend people and be part of the forums and take full advantage of our website. We also recommend you do the same thing on allgames.com. They're good people over there. Even though Derek H gives me a hard time all the time. And again, twitch.tv/Geeky Antics. If you like live shows with video or like watching gameplay, there's that. Ulan, where can people find you these days?
Uh, Twitter, geekyantics.net. Of course, anytime time you want me tea time's going on, I'll be here. I'm a little bit everywhere. I guess at Fatal Blades, FATL Blades on Twitter. Yeah, just kind of a little bit everywhere.
That works. And when all else fails, just stalk us on geekyantics.net. You'll find us somewhere. But yeah, good show. Finish on time. And we'll see you next time, guys. And next time will be the Walking Dead finale wrap up. It'll be crazy. Brace yourself, right? Alright, thanks for tuning in, folks. Peace.
We thank you. We thank you for every crumb, biscuit and cake you bring to the table. Because Doctor Who belongs to all of us. What you bring to the timey-wimey tea time in your live chat participation, comments, likes, shares, tweets and voicemail, all of it means the world to us. Love, true love never fails. Do you like it? If you like what we're doing, well, tell us for God's sake. Shout it from the rooftops at geekyantics.net or call it in 206 415 4987. That's 206 415 4987. That's it. Bless you. So long. And thanks for all the fish. Hold on, it won't be that long. Just a wee while. Because the timey-wimey tea time will be back. We'll return next Saturday with fresh insights, questions and epiphanies about Doctor Who. And heck yes, everything geek. Maybe same bat time. Absolutely the same bat channel. Every Saturday.
Tiny Wimey Tea Time.
Me gusta.